Welcome to the Queens on Decks, where I interview female DJs from around the world. I am Michelle Miller, your host of the Royal Queens Rising podcast. We share our inspiring stories and secrets to our success. Hi, welcome to the Queens on Deck show. I'm DJ RunDat, and I interview female DJs and artists from all around the world. Today, I have a very special guest, Marliii Delaney. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
It's going great. It's such a pleasure to connect with you and have you on the show. I can't wait to dive into all things Marliii and talk about the music that you're producing and how you got started. Let's start with that. How did you get started in the music industry?
So I've been playing music for longer than I can remember. Like my parents swear that I used to start out at their favorite bars, karaoke night when I was like 2 years old, going ga ga da, whatever babies say. And so it really started longer than I can remember ago. And I picked up the guitar around age 8, and I was able to sing and play at simultaneously by the time I was in like the 4th, 5th grade. And I picked up piano. And so it's like I just kept on picking up more instruments. And then eventually I started to produce my own music. I remember like the sixth grade science project. Somehow my best friend and I convinced our teacher that we convinced her to let us produce our own song about nuclear energy, and we were in a band at the time. It was like us and my brother and her sister, and so we like wrote a song. It wasn't very great. I definitely don't have the song to show as evidence, but like my apparently my science teacher still has the CD because it was the CD days too, and then with time, things just kept coming together, and I was in like all types of different bands. And then when it comes to DJing, I really got into that more in the past 3 years. I started going to some music festivals when I was in college. That's like when I started going out more and like being able to, I guess, blossom into an adult, right? Because kids don't really go to music festivals very often. And so I was just out of my freshman year of college and going into my sophomore year when I went to this festival called Electric Zoo with my same best friend that I did that project with in the 6th grade, and some more friends. And we just loved the music. It was something different that like we had never been to before. And after that, I went to another musician at college. And so I was starting to get more and more into electronic music after Electric Zoo. So that was my first EDM festival, and it was a lot of fun, very cool experience. And it was close by to my school at Hofstra University. So Electric Zoo's in New York City and Hofstra's at Long Island. And then I was also in Hofstra's radio station, and I was elected as the programming director of music for the board, so the executive board. Only 4 students from the 200 students in the station get to do that, so that was really a very special experience for me. And I was able to apply for press passes for different music festivals for the summer when I wasn't in school, and I got into Electric Forest. So Electric Forest funded my trip out there to Michigan, and there was a really cool lineup, and I got to interview different bands. And I was mainly interviewing bands and artists, but while I was there, I got even more into EDM because I feel like just being able to see everything in a new perspective in a city. Well, it was in the forest, so in an area that I was never in before, and just being able to do that whole adventure really just like got my inspiration going. And I was able to see some DJs that I had not known about too. So like we talked about this DJ in our call like a few weeks ago. So I was able to experience and learn about Closey, and I had no idea that like I didn't even know that girls DJ'd, and I was kind of like, wait, what? And it just kind of like I had this connection that I was like, why are there not enough women doing this? And like I was thinking, so I've been producing my own music, but it's like more of like singer-songwritery stuff, indie stuff. Like, why don't I branch out and like be also a DJ and like also put electronic elements? Cause like I really love this and I want more people to know about it too. And I want to show young girls out there that they can also do it. As a music teacher, I teach guitar, keys, and I sing. So I teach vocals. And so I want to show girls that they can do whatever they want, you know, like we're fierce. So
Yeah.
that's how I got into like all those different things.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, I feel you, like the festivals will definitely change your life. If you haven't been to a music festival, find one whenever you can. I know most
100% recommend.
most are virtual right now. I've been blessed growing up with Reggae on the River festival near me, and now we have Northern Nights Music Festival and EDM Festival. So definitely life changing. And yeah, like growing up, the only female DJ I had seen was on MTV when I was really young, and then I didn't really know any DJs for a long period of my life. So it kind of depends on where you're at in the world. I think depending on where you live and where you grew up, you're exposed to more or less music and more DJs. And I will never forget the first female DJ I ever met, but she was a video DJ on MTV. But other than that, like there were no DJs growing up. We didn't have DJs at our school dances. I don't know if that's because it was cassette tapes in elementary school and then into CDs or what it was, or where, because I lived in the woods. But yeah, definitely get out to festivals if you haven't, because it'll change your life. So once you started getting into DJing, did you have any mentors?
So I started out, well, okay, so I didn't have many mentors at first because like my whole background was live instruments, guitars, bass guitars, like anything with strings on it, and singing and keys. And yeah, so I didn't actually know anyone that I could call a mentor at first. So it was definitely like a slow and steady process. But I did, after going to Forest, I went to a couple other festivals, and whenever I would see someone with CDJs, I'd kind of be like, oh, like, can I take a look at that at some point and network and meet people that are also like-minded and into EDM. And as that was going on, like in the past 2 years, because I went to Forest in 2018. So I went to a couple more festivals and just like little shows here and there, because when there's not a festival, there's a concert going on. And so I have been to some venues around New York. And yeah, so whenever I would meet people, I would say like, yeah, like I'm into this. I would love experience with CDJs. And eventually my roster of people that I'm connected with who have access to CDJs or just like want to help me out have been growing. So like, for example, there's a record label that's like active here and there. They're called Impossible Records. They gave me their like membership of Ableton so I could have another perspective of a DAW that I could use. I still use Logic because I guess that's the instrument player of me, and the fact that I'm singing, it just like feels easier on that particular software. But it's really nice to have the sounds from Ableton too. And there is a plugin that I was using for samples that this label also gave me for access to, called Splice. And then the really cool thing was that actually super recently I was able to launch a brand partnership with Splice. And so Splice is giving me the opportunity to share a promo code with whoever is interested in learning to produce and get like sounds that are not just EDM related, but samples from all types of sounds, all types of genres, and loops as well. With the promo code Marliii 100, Marliii 100, you get access to 100 free sounds that you can put onto your USB, right, and use as like a backbeat for what you're doing live, or if you're making something in the studio and you need that extra sound, like you're like, oh, I really want, like, I don't know, a trumpet, like you can get that trumpet sound, or like you want something that's already a loop and you can download that for free and download something else. You can match their BPMs and just get it going. So that's really fun to do. So yeah, like I maybe didn't start with mentors, but things grow as you express your interest and your passion for something.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about what's been going on for you during quarantine and how you've been staying busy and your new song you just released, Rain. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I've been staying busy by creating. I'm super blessed to have music by my side during such an uncertain time. I feel like the days could really become like feel like it's just like a big mush, and that could feel unmotivating. But then I look back and it's like I start out a song, and then I maybe don't look at it for a month, and I'm on like another song or two or however many I'm working on, and then I look back and I realize like music is such a time capsule, and that and I can see the growth that's happened from pre-quarantine, or like even like at the start of quarantine to now. And it's really eye-opening to see that, like, oh, like I was able to learn all this while lockdown was going on, or while I couldn't do live shows. And I'm like, sometimes they say things like the universe has its plan for you. I know things are not ideal right now, but the universe does have a plan for all of us. And I think for artists right now and for DJs who are just starting out and are new to this, it's that the time that we're spending at home, and even for everyone, like being able to be with your family more, right, and being able to hone in on your craft and your brand and and learn who you are. I think we all kind of needed that, you know. So that's what's been keeping me moving forward. And then Rains, yeah, so that song just dropped on Friday this past week. And yeah, so it's brand new. I hope you have time to listen to it. And it's a collaboration with Irfad, who's a DJ from India. So that's across the world, across the globe kind of collab. And that started during quarantine as well. We were both competing on a music contest called My Song Wins. So that's their Instagram if you look them up. And they have weekly tournaments between different genres. So we were both on the EDM one, and we kept tying. And so it was such a close race. And eventually I won, and it was like 51-49 or something, so like barely. But he reached out and he was like, your song's really good. And like that was such a good match. Like, why don't we do a collaboration? And this was like maybe a week or so into lockdown, like late March. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm craving being able to unify with other creatives right now, especially while this is such an isolating time. Like, this will definitely keep us moving forward and like growing. And so we came up with this concept of like a happy song to bring hope to people. And so with the concept of Rains, we give the lyrics, we pretty much say like, how will we know where the world will go until we take the reins to help it grow? And so that's our build up lyrics. And then that's when the drop happens, and that's when y'all will be dancing when you listen. And so
Awesome.
yeah, so that's our song.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I think that what we should do is We'll play it at the end of the interview. We'll include it as part of the interview. Cool.
Okay, great.
Yeah, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your creative process and beat making. Can you give us a little example of how you're working your magic over there?
Oh, yes, I can. Okay, so for beat making, and so yeah, so I mentioned before that like sometimes you could take samples from Splice because they're royalty free, but I for one sometimes I like to make my beats from scratch with the presets that are already in the stock library of the digital audio workstation that I'm on. So right now I have Logic up, which is why I freeze sometimes. So don't mind me if I freeze again. But yeah. So this is my launch pad. It's from Novation and it has some sounds attached to it. Yeah, so that's a bunch of sounds. But yeah, like if you hear them one at a time, you can hear different subs. And then there's lower ones, higher ones. And then we have some subby bass. We have some hi-hat. So we have a bunch of different ones to pick from. Actually, I have a goal that I haven't done yet, but I will hopefully will soon of writing, labeling each one because it's like these ones I remember. These ones I know it's like I don't know what note they are exactly because this is a different note than that one. They're a perfect fifth away from each other, or actually they're a tritone, which is in no, they're perfect fit because you can hear that Star Wars. Yeah, that's my music theory, by the way, that I learned in school. But yeah, but it's kind of random, so I want to like label all of them because this is on my favorite sounds. But then if I find a new list of sounds, then I'll have to rewrite them. So it's like I might not. I might just have them memorized very soon. But these ones I remember like around here, so I could kind of like do something like. Then I keep well, when I'm recording it, I have a metronome going, but right now we got the metronome in my mind. And I can like improv around it. I jazz majored, so I could like sing just like things, just little ideas. And so what I would do is I would make this loop as one track, and then I would get my mic going. My mic's like over there. I don't know if you can see the popper stopper.
Okay.
And so I would just like sometimes I would just sing random things as scratch vocals, or if I had a whole song in mind, like if I like practiced on acoustic guitar or something, I'll record the guitar or like the piano over the beat and then I would sing. So it's like one thing at a time. But yeah, I could like do a little improv-y. Yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. We are with the royal queen, rising in the DJ industry. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes, thank you, Michelle, for having me here. That was very improv-y. That was
I love it. Thank you. That's awesome.
thanks.
So, where can we connect with you online, and where's the best place to support you and hear your music?
So to connect with me online, I was gonna see if I could write it on a paper, but I have a feeling that it would come out like not like it would come out as a mirror, and so it wouldn't be able to be read. But if you could put like a little like blurb
We
kind
will.
of thing on the
There'll
screen,
be there'll be
perfect.
little effects and things, but for the
Yes.
audio, for the podcast, just let us know where the best place.
I will say it out loud and I will spell it for you.
Great.
So for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, SoundCloud, Marliii Music, Marliii Music. And for supporting my music online. Like if you want to listen to everything, I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, on Deezer, Amazon Music, Google Play, all that good stuff. I'm Marliii, Marlii, like Marliii, yeah.
Marliii, I.
Yeah, Marliii, yeah. That's what I'm thinking of making my tag. So it's like at the start of the song, it's like Marliii, yeah,
Yay! I love it. That's fun. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone who's listening in today.
Awesome. All right. Till next time. Bye. Go to my website to claim your free gift, a digital copy of my best-selling book, How to Start a DJ Business. www.djrundat.com. Follow me on all social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at DJ RunDat. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. To learn how you can book me or work with me, go to my website or email me at michelle@djrundat.com.